So we will start with a prayer. I hope you can read this. This is Khalil Gibran's poetry on children. I think this probably should be made compulsory in all schools as a prayer to start respecting children, their life. We forget that sometimes. So this is the best poetry that I've ever come across. You can read it. I won't read it now. But seek not to make them like you. Khalil Gibran. So actually I planned a little bit of experiential kind of a presentation. So look at this work in that sense. You don't have to think too much. Be nice, open, So I'm going to share with you exploring beauty. That is the topic that I'm starting with. So don't get tense. This is just observation only. Just look. That's it. Okay, can I ask you 2 questions? Please, what you must have learned in your first standard. What is the color of sky? Loud. Okay, what is the color of leaves? Fantastic. Just checking how much you remember. Okay, is it okay that you can draw very fast something? One quick thing? Draw a mango. I'm sure you must have learned that in first standard. Drawing a mango. Can you just do it? Just do it once, no? Then we will see. Paper. Done it? Some of you? How many of you have drawn one leaf? Part of mango? Very good. 2 leaves? Why did you forget? Forgot or? Did you forget or? Okay, I just wanted to, these 3 points, I do it everywhere. And I usually get the same answer. The more educated, the more certain they are. You see? What is the color of sky? Now comes the answer, blue. Color of leaf, green. So this was asked to children. So the child asked back, what time of the day are you referring to? Right? Children are present, we are absent. We deal with absence, but children are present. You see, like Professor Sir was telling the first presentation, that principal used to catch him all the time. My parents were teachers, so I had a problem even at home. So I never liked school. That's the reason why I spent all my years trying to understand what is wrong with education and how can you make it better. In 90s, I did engineering. In 3rd year, I had some problems, so I left and I started teaching in the school, precisely to understand what happens in the school. So from 1982 till now, I have been on a journey to understand what is learning. How does it happen? Why is that we are struggling with this whole idea of making learning interesting, where children learn naturally? You see? So one of the areas that I'm actually looking at is, how do you develop a pedagogy where you don't have to teach? I call it do-nothing pedagogy. So why I started with asking the color of sky and all that is because the most fundamental need of learning is the ability to observe. And do you think there is observation at all in educational paradigm? Think about it. Do we observe at all? So, what I'm trying to look at is that, how do we look at art as a means to sense, feel and know the world, and language as a means to sense, feel and know the world? Because both the content are the world. Whether you talk about something or you draw about something, it is the world that we want to, but are we looking at the world at all? That's the question that, so without observation there is neither art nor language. Alright, so this is the basic thing that I want to share with you. And when children learn to speak naturally, they are learning to articulate their understanding of the world. children's language cannot be separated from the experience they are having of the world. The experience of the world integrates the knowing and the feeling aspect. Cognition and beauty, the language and art. So I will share with you 3 experiences of no teaching pedagogy. I also teach, as I told you, design and architecture students. I'm a faculty at IDC Bombay, IIT. And my whole principle is no teaching. How do you enable knowledge creation to happen? That's the primary. So I will share with you some initial experiments that I did. One is sensing nature and knowing nature. I did this with the rural children in Nilambur, Kerala. When I realized that senses are the most important tool for understanding the world. And then I also did a workshop. I was running a school in Pune in 2011 to 2014 where children did drawing almost every day. So we collected all the drawings and we found that drawing is actually a cognitive activity. It is not an artistic activity. So I want to distinguish between what is cognition. How do you use art to understand the world? So I'm not looking at integrating that. I'm telling observation, drawing is a cognitive act. It's not separate. And the third is drawing as a means for observation, reflection and recollection. So various experiments that I had done. So I'm just telling you this is the area that I have worked with, traditional artisans, children and all that. So we keep hearing this word, now think out of the box. Did you ever wonder who put you in the box? We are under the assumption that the default is the box and now we have to think out of the box. I'm telling you, jump out of the box. Don't even stay there. You don't have to think out of the box, break the box. Really? That's what it is. So this workshop I did called Sensing Nature, Knowing Nature, where I just created an environment for children to observe color, texture, lines, everything in nature became something to experience. And as I told you, there is absolutely no teaching at all. Children came together, I provided few materials and I found absolutely beautiful things happening there. That is when I realized that do we really understand children's ability? This is what I began to explore. So this is just observing leaves and drawing, recreating that. Right? But the best part was that luckily I didn't have enough money. So I only got the 6 colors, the primary colors and red and white, black and white. All children were able to mix, match and get this color. They never came back to ask how to do it. Which means that already there is a system that can solve this complex problem. This is a complex problem. Getting the color, and of course I never had palette and things like that. No? They just picked up any leaf that became their palettes. Now you look at, this is the original color that they collected from the ground, of which they made the painting. Absolute high quality work. No teaching at all. Please remember this. And then fine-tuning observation. So even when we say the color of leaf is green, there is no green in the head. It's only the word that is in the head. So I want the children to actually experience green, all the greens. See, in fact, in design school, I asked them to collect 49 shades of green, not just 5, 6, 49 shades. And it's possible, children do it. So I use everything for observation. And one of the most important thing that I do is that I never make any corrections nor judgments. That I think is the most important thing that I realized when I work with rural children, because I find children do such beautiful things but they are not aware of it. That is the innocent quality of children that I think we tamper it, no? And I have a feeling that all the psychological issues that we are encountering in the modernity is primarily because we have not understood how this false ego gets created, which unnecessarily feels it is doing something, this is what I very strongly feel. So you can see that every aspect was object for observation only. So they used clay, but to observe their village, remaking the village. And then I also used photography, meaning mobile phones, very clearly. So you look at this now, that they look at this, take a photograph, take black sheet and cut it out. This is high quality work. 12, 13, 14-year-old children are doing this. And you can look at the complexity of that. In that, one leaf is over the other. How do they cut it and make it? I show you even more complex. Look at the tendrils. It's highly complex. Children can do it. We find it difficult because something has stopped us from that true learning. We have been into teaching too much time, no? Learning is a different, the cognitive science of learning is very different from teaching. Learning is a completely different system. Teaching is a different system. So once you get established in observation, everything around becomes beautiful. This is another thing that I'm finding today, that the beauty of the world is completely absent to us, the modern educated people, because we don't see anything. I think it is extremely important to re-establish us in beauty of the world. And that can only happen when our senses are awakened and enabled observation. So I want to show you some absolutely beautiful things that children have created with no training at all. See, look at the highly beautiful compositions that have formed without ever talking about what is art. They don't know what is art. They have never done anything called composition, nothing. So just dry leaves are being used, cut, and using paste, some glue, they're doing this. And then from laterite, they pick out these colors and they're making, columns. So different kinds of dust from the village is collected and created this. They are very big actually. So this is one part. Second, I will show you the drawing aspect. Draw the world to know the world. So this again, you read this is fantastic. When my daughter was about 7 years old, she asked me one day what I did at work. I told her I went to the college, that my job was to teach people to draw. She stared at me, incredulous, and said, "You mean they forgot?" You see? You see, in the school, not even one child told they don't know how to draw. Every child did drawing, because we did not turn it into art. We did not turn it into skill. We let it remain as an opportunity to observe the world. These are two different things. I'm sure all of you know that after the class, how many persons are left calling themselves artists? Maybe 2-3%, that's all. The rest of them almost hate art. So in the process when you change, everybody will draw. So there's an essential difference between art as a self-expression and all that, and drawing as a cognitive activity. This will be very clearly understood. In cognitive activity, there is no help at all. There is no judgment at all. They are observing, they are drawing. It's like this, that right from childhood, how many people actually write very well, good handwriting, all of you have? Very few, no. But when we were children, had they told us to stop writing if our handwriting is bad, what would have happened? This is exactly the same way we should look at drawing. Then everybody will draw, like everybody writes, It's the same thing actually. So, okay. So I will quickly show you, and what is very interesting is that this is a very fresh study. There is no research all over the world on what I am talking about. There is no research on drawing as a cognitive activity. So in our research we found that drawing also has milestones. You're aware of what is milestones, no? In everything there is milestone they are talking about, walking, talking and all that. You will find milestones even in drawing. But we don't interfere, we shouldn't interfere. Then only that will happen. So like crawling stage, scribbling, and then slowly one word coming out. And then from 2 dimension to 3 dimension. But you see, drawing is absolutely a very high abstraction art ability you must have, because you are actually looking at the 3D and converting that into 2D. Right now you try, you will find it very difficult. But children won't find it difficult at all. You know? So children have a process by which they arrive at 3D. That's what I'm trying to say. You can see how each and every aspect is explored. You can see how a bus is looked at in its, all the sides. See the process that is taking place. It's very clear that there is absolute observation. So there was this child who was continuously drawing vipers. And I have this 200-page book full of vipers, different type of vipers, you know, which means that they're actually very keenly observing their world around. So drawing is abstraction. With minimum lines, they're able to draw different types of trees that children have drawn. See, imagine what happens when we are taught how to draw. I mean, I'm sure you all have taught how to draw a tree, na? Like this, na? That's it. But look at how many types of trees children have drawn. So this whole homogenization, standardization happens because we are teaching. You allow a space where learning takes place, then there is authenticity and originality still embedded. Then you don't have to go, to Sadhguru and do a meditation program, mindfulness program. Mindfulness is there in children. That is the way of life. That is getting disturbed because they are not allowed to be. So, every activity they see. So this was in a suburban area. So whatever children experience, they come and draw. So this was after one festival. Everybody, first they recreate it in experience. And then they draw. So this was interesting. You can see 2 suns in that. One sun is going down, it is unhappy, and the other sun is coming up, very happy. That's the child was telling. There was another child who, after she came back from Srinagar, she drew this scenery with 2 suns. And he was telling her father that, look, that's in Kashmir, they need 2 suns. That is imagination, This is fantastic. There was this friend who was pregnant. So look, the child is already inside this womb. Yeah? And you look at the cat, 3 generations. Yeah? You see, you can see this. See how you felt so happy. That's exactly what happens when you are actually enabling children to function like this. Every day was fantastic for us. Because every day we're seeing this magic. Otherwise, they do what you tell them to do, and then you should be happy because they have done what you told them to do. This is not like that. They are absolutely capable. That's the only thing I'm keeping on stressing. So this is the, I have another huge study on play and toys. Maybe another time, if I get an opportunity, I'll tell you that. You see, we have all learned to speak our mother tongue without any help. In Bangalore slums, children speak 4 languages by the time they reach 3 years, with no help at all. The grammar is implicit. So there is a rule, which we don't know, because we have not learned the rule to speak. No? So that is implicit. Exactly like that, there is implicit rule in understanding the world. If you don't mind, let me shock you once more. Literate learn the word, illiterate learn the world. Right? Literate learn the word, illiterate learn the world. I stopped reading in 1991 completely. And then I understood what is actually learning. Because learning actually means creation of knowledge. That's what it means. It's not analyzing somebody's information. This is a modern definition. So, simple rule in cognitive science is that what you experience, you become. Do you know why children play teacher games when they go home? Because they are learning to be teachers. That's the reason. They are not learning to be learners. That's a clear distinction. So this was fantastic. So what we did was that, we enabled children to draw wherever they felt like. So drawing was very interesting. So they would erase and they keep drawing. So they drew me one, they saw me standing somewhere, so drew me in front of the leopard, then they put me inside the stomach. So this is a fantastic way, It's a continuous erasing and making a new story around, So a leopard had come to their village. That's why leopard became the subject. And 8, 9-year-old children, they are anyway naughty, So look, they are drawing cow dung and all that. I'm just opening this up to you. There are several ways in which we can, in spite of everything, there are several ways we can, do these things in an absolutely interesting manner. He saw me standing, so he got more excited. That's where the cow dung came. So this was in rural areas in Koppam. There's Agastya Foundation. I had done some work with them. Again, these children have no exposure to art at all, no drawing teacher. So I actually got them to start observing. That was my first thing that I do, And then I used something like drawing the map of the house to the school. So every day they need observation. See, enhancing observation, that is the basic, primary activity which I feel is important. Drawing is reflection, where I ask children to recollect any festival. So you can see it's drawn like a, and of course they are writing about it, Festivals, then farming, this is something that they see every day. And what is interesting is that not one child told me they don't know how to draw. But look at this drawing. And he managed without not even one person. Hand with Bangles mother, without Bangles he. Simple, So drawing helps enhancing observation as it would make us observe and grow more consciously. In that sense, drawing needs to be seen as a tool that will enable, help children to observe the world around, and almost all children draw. To draw means to learn to abstract three-dimensional world in terms of two-dimensional space. So I'm not selling, but this is a book that I've written, Seeing with Hands. 3 years of experience have been documented and put into to make understand what is it that actually children, what is the whole process. Just quickly I will share with you something that I do in design school, just to show it's the same thing that is repeated. Complexity changes. You see, children are learning the mother tongue where you are not reducing the complexity. Children are, left with the same complexity, they simplify and learn. So the content never changes actually. So my proposal is that, my request is that if it is possible to rethink the notion of art from product to process, from teaching to awakening, from known to the unknown, where you don't go to this ready-made idea that this is what they should be doing. See, for example, children who are drawing, they combine play and drawing together. But in a strict classroom, that won't be allowed now. I'm telling them free up, why are we so strict about it? So they don't have any such rules that this is what drawing is, this is what, this is. They will just, that is what is actually playfulness means. So awakened sense is the basis of all art forms and also of knowledge. Art is a result of direct experience. Rather than teaching skills to sing, paint and draw, what needs to be done is to awaken the senses, to see, to hear, to feel, to touch, to taste, and to move. So, drawing, coloring, clay work, photography, everything all as a means to enhance and fine-tune observation. So the external world itself is absolutely beautiful, just that we don't see it, that's all. Okay, I'll stop here. Thank you very much. In case if you still wish to meet me, this is my contact. Okay, thank you very much.